must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. Every Saturday night, right here, True Frequency Radio. This is Fearless, and I'm here with my co-host, Etherical Translator, Paula, Milo.
Hey, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Before we start the show, I want to give a shout out to Chris and Sergio. Love you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing this. Rock and roll time. I want to say shout outs to everyone in the chat room and everybody joining us on iHeartRadio, on True Frequency Radio, or wherever else you might be joining us from. Space. Welcome to the now. Somebody's having trouble with the sound, perhaps. I don't know if it's us. We are loud and clear on my end.
Oh, chat room folks, if anyone else can hear, please let us know.
Barely hear you. Check 1, 2.
We're trying to fix it. Way too low.
Check 1, 2. How's that? We are in the red right now, so low.
Low. Okay, we're trying to fix it.
Check 1, 2. How's that? Sorry, we have to go through this.
Better.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I just peeked out on everything. That's no bueno. All right. Well, check out I Am We Are Fearless for you, the latest and greatest, fearless.com. Check out the new site, the new designs, the new artist, the new clothing, the new apparel, the new everything. It's pretty awesome.
It's all really cool.
Yeah, it's really, really dope. I hope you guys can check it out. The holiday season has arrived, and I know...
Well, it's arriving.
Well, it's arriving, yeah, but we got Halloween right here around the corner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, start early. Get in your requests. Shout-outs to the Fearless family. And you have any shout-outs? Because I'm pretty much done.
I just want to say, thank you, everyone who supports TFR. Thank you for the subscriptions. The money goes to us as well as to run the station, so we appreciate that. Thank you. And anyone can get a subscription. There's one for every price point.
Oh, yeah. And if
So
that's
please
too
do
much
so.
of an issue, then you could just go to the YouTube page and check it out. Got a whole bunch of great stuff on there. If you like
yeah.
meditation, we got all the meditation music that we use. We have the I Am We Are meditation playlist, as well as a ton of others. You could check that out. It'll drive you right into the same frequency, into that truth frequency. I hope there's not a lot of feedback. You know what it is? I switched mics with you earlier. That I did do. So I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Oh, you switched.
I took your microphone. I stole it.
Why?
Because you were a little low.
Oh.
I couldn't get your sound up on my end.
Oh, okay.
So
Do you want to tell everyone about the picture you took recently?
yes, I do. So we'll start the show with a bang, I guess. I went outside earlier. I was actually standing in the house, just hanging out. A friend of mine came to pay me a visit. I went outside.
Making dinner?
Yeah, we were just hanging out. And I was by the front door.
and I felt like I had to take my phone with me, and I was like toggling the camera app, like inside the app. Like I picked it up, I just started playing with it. I walk out, and it's gorgeous out, and I have the pictures of what I'm talking about right now, and I will put them in the chat room. I said, "Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful sky!" And I was like, flat bottom clouds of spaceships and all that. And then I hear, "Yo, take my picture." So I'm like, no, I'm just going to keep walking pretty much. And then I kept walking a little bit, and I stopped right at the front gate. Take my picture. Mm-hmm. So I go, okay, and I see my friend. He's on the angle. I see him through the bushes. And I go, all right. And I just look up to the sky. I go, oh, what a beautiful picture. Snap a couple of pictures, right? Done. Walk away. Go about my business. Come back into the house. I'm looking at it. I'm like, wow, this camera takes beautiful, beautiful pictures. And I blow it up. And I'm showing it to you. I'm like, look at the beautiful pictures. And then, boom, that's when I see it. There are light ships in the picture. And I know people don't like to believe in that. Well, people have
I saw them too.
Well, no, I have the pictures. I'm going to put them in the chat room. But it was really odd because I heard take the picture. Like I have my own experiences with things, and that one's never happened. Like, hey, I got your attention. I'm over here. But nothing. I didn't notice anything until I came inside.
Yes, but you acted on it, and that's what's important.
I believe so. I really do believe so. Let's see if we could get these up in the chat room right now. Nope, that's not going to bring it up. So while I try to figure this out and get this in the room. Oh, there we go. When I see stuff like this, it really got me excited, like really excited, because I ask all the time, hey, just like everyone else does, let me see the two eyes, no ayahuasca, no DMT, no nothing. I just want to see, right? And they're like, you'll see. Everyone's going to see. Damn, it's doing it again. I need to concentrate on doing this. I can't talk and do this at the same time.
We can post it in the room on Facebook later. This way you can get through this because it's distracting you now.
No, I know, but I want to get it into the chat room. Oh, I guess it's not letting me. You son of a bitch. Okay, so I'm allowed to say what I want. It's my show. So with this, the knowledge that it comes in, for 2 days, I've been seeing dragons and all kinds of weird stuff in my dreams, right? Nightmares don't exist anymore. Haven't had a nightmare and I can't even tell you how long. But when I had them, they were horrible and horrendous.
Very detailed.
Very detailed and lifelike. Now it's just quite the opposite. Mm-hmm. It's like detailed and awesome. I wake up, I feel special. And I don't mean like yellow bus special, right? I mean like like it's starting to occur now. More and more
frequently. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what everyone else is hearing when they meditate, when they look internally, what the message like that you get. Okay, I've been getting messages for 2 weeks prior to everyone's channelings. So I'll be around talking about this stuff like crazy, and then all these channelings will come out. And Chris Geo talks about this. He'll discuss something, and then like later, or somebody's show the next day or the next week, they start, it like gets into the mass consciousness.
Right. And then everyone's talking about
it. And I'm like, well, they're a little late with this. And I do this on the show all the time. We'll discuss something, and then it'll pop up and like, well, this is coming. And it's like, well, we already discussed that. And then I realize, oh, wait a second. We're a little bit ahead of the wave.
Maybe.
What makes you say maybe? I'm just kind of curious.
It's always now. So we may think we're getting the information first, but it's always now. So I don't know.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Well, all right. So the great conundrum of being everywhere and here in all the multi-dimensional fractal universe at the same time in the now, because everything is happening right now.
It's happening now.
We were watching Men in Black last night, and I never noticed this. It was Men in Black 3. The guy they have to rescue during the movie, when Will Smith goes back in time to rescue Tommy Lee Jones.
I said that.
Okay. the guy that I can't remember his name was this little chubby guy, right, running around with an Easter egg hat on his head. And they were like, what's up with this guy? And it was like, yo, he's a fifth dimensional being that could see multiple timelines at once as they're blending and occurring. So he could see all the variations and all the variables. So they're like, yo, you got to get the ArcNet from this guy. And this was the shield that protects the planet. And they're running around with this being. And the movie, and I've seen it 100 times, just makes more and more sense every time I watch it. I'm like, they're just drip drabbing it in everything.
It's sprinkled in.
It's sprinkled in everything.
Sprinkled into everything.
I'm reading a book called Downloads from the Nine, right? And I realized that the nine aren't beings. They're like the realms from 12 minus 9 down, right? So, or 13 minus 9 and down. So it starts around 4, right? 4D, 3D, 4D, right? And then the realms of information is what you're pulling out, right? And we are that. We are all of that. And it was coming up in this book. I couldn't read past a certain page. I put it down. And a few weeks ago, I don't know if I mentioned this on the show. I might have. I merged with my higher self. So I never heard. I talked about the merge, right? But I expected like this other thing to happen. And I got this very emotional experience. It was quite intense. And then under the experience with Paula, I was building a body, right? Now I'm going to get to my point. I picked the book up 2 days ago and started reading as if I had no problem reading it. And the whole next part was you having those that have come here early, have come here to transform earlier before the shift, will merge with your higher selves and then feel no pull towards the good and evil. Like you're not going to be pulled back and forth by the with like the yin yang design. Like it's not going to affect you. Like you're not going to feel the oceans of energy blasting you, telling you no, do this, no, do that. Like there's not. It's like a full release. And I've been going through this. So I read the next few pages, and it was all about that experience.
But isn't it funny how it only lets you read a few pages at a time? Because it's like you have to read a couple of pages, then go experience something, and then come back and read a few more pages.
First few pages was like, yeah, whatever. Like, this is good. I like it. I'm enjoying it, and it's a fun experience. It was hard to read some of the pages in the book. There's spirals, and it teaches you to read backwards and upside down, right to left.
Right, but the point is that you can't go further. The book wants to release its information to you in small pieces.
Yes, I couldn't literally get to the part that I haven't lived yet, because then this is why Chris talks about not reading the books and following other people's stuff, because you'll be kind of initiated by it already. So it could pop up in your vocabulary, but you haven't experienced it yet. Right? It's like, I don't want to follow that. I'm just going to kind of go through my own thing. Right. And then as it occurs, the synchronicities that line up is something like you pick up a book and you start reading it, and what you're doing is in the book. This happened with the pyramids when Nick Zervos, shout outs to Nicholas, bought me a book. I don't remember the name of the book. We talked about it on the show. And then he takes the book out before we're doing the meditations, of like the day or two before we're actually doing the pyramid meditation, when Chris is in it and activating the pyramid. He busts out the book, takes a picture. He goes, yo, chapter 3 or something like that has the exact description of what we were doing in it. And it had a photo, like a drawing. It's on one of the flyers when we did the show right after that. And the flyer was that page of the book, where it was us circling the capstone of the pyramid, and somebody's activating it while there are beings outside twinkling and doing their magic, while this being could do his magic and shoot up into the 13th. Right? That was all there in a picture. It said, this is coming. And we were in the middle of doing it. I had never read the book. I took the book, I put it in the back because I got 50 books to read. I stopped reading books.
Well, nothing in this book is true, but it's exactly the way things are, by Bob Frizzell.
Yeah, and I think that guy's been on, Bob Frizzell's been on Truth Frequency before. He might have been Beyond the Veil. I'm not sure. I know Chris knows a lot of people, but I don't know how that's possible. just like you don't. It's like magic to me, right? Or is it the synchronicity of the timing of Frankie needs to see it?
Right.
I posted that and put that on the flyer, and I was talking about it so much. I'm like, oh, this is actually in the book. I was telling Chris, he was there, and I'm like, Chris, I'm looking at the page right now. I don't even know how this is possible. The synchronicities, though, lead you if you let them.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
I had Esther Hicks, one of the Abraham books I had read a very, very long time ago, and I had a hard time getting through it. I couldn't relate to any of it in a personal way, directly. And so I put it down. I must have put it in a box. And then I found it again a few years ago, and I read it, and it made perfect sense. But I remember struggling with this book, and I said, I think I'm just wasn't meant to read it at the time I bought it. I don't think I was ready for the information, ready to receive the information.
And it's funny. I went through my mother's books the other day. She has every book on everything that we're doing right now. And I go, you have all this information. Oh, I read all those a long time ago. And I'm like, but you got it.
But she does have it.
I'm like, you got it. You got every little bit from all the neo-shamanic direction takes you in every direction, and you pull out what you need. My mother has everything that I took from already.
And she applies it to her life in her own way.
And I was like, I didn't know. And she goes, oh, you didn't know? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm getting the images in there now, by the way. I figured out how to do it while I'm talking, and it's working. So I blew up the two ships in the light ships in the image. I already posted them in the Facebook group, and now they're in the chat group, so you can check them out. So we are all in one way or another leading ourselves down the correct path.
I think so.
Without even being aware.
No, I think that's exactly how it's supposed to be.
So
we talk about pushing that boulder uphill. If your life is a struggle and every turn you make is a struggle, then you have to reassess and you have to figure stuff out. It should be easy going through the motions of your life. And I'm not saying day-to-day things. Day-to-day things aren't easy, getting the kids ready for school and doing homework and, having to go grocery shopping and living your life and jamming all the things you have to do in one day. Like my sister. My sister's day starts at 6. She's in the car at 6:45 or 6:30 in the morning. My nephew starts kindergarten at 7:30 in the morning. It's an incredibly long day for them, but they get through it every day. You just get through it. You prepare yourself and you get through it. And, that's what I mean when I say sometimes you have to take it 1 hour at a time when you're losing when you're losing your bearings and you're just losing the sense of who you are. You just have to take a minute and pull yourself together. And then say, I'm just going to try to focus on the next hour. And I'm going to do the best I can in an hour. Because sometimes your life is so overwhelming that just thinking about getting through the day.
You're already
you've already been defeated.
One thing, when I was an inspector, I was the blueberry guy, right? Mm-hmm. So you ever seen a blueberry container, right? I had to randomly select the blueberry containers. You were on it the other night when we were talking.
Oh yeah, we were making jokes.
I had to count.
Yeah, because it's a subset. You're not checking every container of blueberries. You're checking a subset.
But even those subsets, you're in the thousands of range even if you have like a sample of 13 boxes. Of course, yeah. Okay, so if the farmers that were inspectors that weren't used to like the way it is in the Bronx, they would have heart palpitations and almost faint from their job because the overwhelming trucks that were coming in where they do 6 inspections in 4 days was a lot. We would do 16 a day. So I would do 5 blueberry trucks in the morning, and that would be my breakfast time.
Right.
And people are like, how are you doing that? So they watched me, and I go, okay, the guys that taught me prior to the guys that are here now, because I was one of the last new guys, kind of. I was with the old school guy, kind of at that point. I said, all right, look, when you show up here, you have a job, right? Here's your job. It's like, whoa, here's all the paperwork. I go, no, stop looking at the paperwork. Put the paperwork down. You have to talk to the driver. Hello. You have to mark the truck, or you can't even look at it. You have to mark it before the seal's broke. Do that before they open the truck, because if you're not there, they open it. It's a skewed. They could switch stuff out. It's not the right inspect. They could be lying, cheating, stealing. Okay, so that's 2, right? 3, put your initials in the truck, right? Get on the truck, get a count. Then get your paperwork out. Do line 1. What's your inspector number? Bang. Line 2. What's the load say? Well, it's supposed to be 3,000. How many did you count? I counted 3,006. Okay, put it down. Now, by the time as you're doing this, you're done so fast.
Because you're building up momentum.
And you're only worried about the next, like what I'm doing at this moment.
Yes.
And then the next thing. If I think about signing my name on the certificate before giving it to you, I've already failed. I failed as a human being, because that's the last thing you do. You should never think about signing it. You're not even there. So why look at everything and freak yourself out?
But it's true. It's like
why start the alphabet? Go A, B, C, D, Z. Like you can't. You got to go back and you got to fix all the other rest. You got to learn all the letters. You got to do everything you got to do. You got to know how to put them together in a sentence. Make sentences, right? This is how we do.
But that is how you have to do it. You have to do one thing at a time, and you have to do things in a certain order if you're expecting a certain outcome.
If you want to take the clutter, this is my point, the cluttering and the thinking of the day being ruined by just the thought of the hard day, right? You can wake up and go, well, I got to brush my teeth and I got to pee. Start your day. I'm here. I look in the mirror. You're a sexy beast. Then go on to the next thing. Know what you have to do, but don't think of all the things you have to do. Start running through them one at a time. Make your list, get your preparation. You're going to also have to be on the fly with these things, because there's always situations that present themselves that have never been there before. Only me and only this. And the more you scream that, the more that happens to you. So you just keep digging that. Yes. So as you dig that hole and it gets deeper and deeper and your day gets crazier and crazier, oh my God, you see how it's already lost. You're already lost. So they're right when people like The Rock said it's a mental battle. It's one as soon as you wake up and go, no, it's good. It's a good day. The whole day could be falling apart. And he's like, no, it's a good day. I just woke up. I'm alive. Start simple, right? And then the first thing, then the second thing, right? Because sometimes when we wake up here, the cats are running amok and Paula's got to do 8 things before she's allowed to go to the bathroom. Sometimes we discuss this during the show. She said this too the other day. She's like, I just got up. I went to the bathroom. I told him, no, you got to wait, right? Mom has got to put her mask on if the plane's crashing or the plane's going down and the oxygen changes. I have to do my mask before I can put my kid's mask on. Why? Because the kid's going to fiddle and mess around and be screaming and yelling. And you're going to be trying to hold it on. Meanwhile, you're going and then you're done, right? So you get yours on nice and secure. You're nice and secure. You're ready to rock and roll, and you turn around and you take care of the kid and you handle your business. This is a metaphor for life.
Take care of yourself. We were talking about this earlier. Taking care of ourselves is probably the hardest things we ever have to do, because there's always something else that needs taken care of, or someone else who needs taken care of. And it's literally just taking those moments out of your day for yourself.
Yeah. The cats are going to have to wait. What do they need? They're excited. You're up. They need food. Okay. They need to eat. I have to pee and brush my teeth. Because
literally.
I don't want to run the water. This is my problem in the morning. If I go to them first and I run the water in the kitchen, mm-hmm. I have to go to the bathroom immediately and I'll go. So it's like, let me just run in, do what I got to do, and then I could just do everything that I need to do. Then you're not cranky, you're accepting, you're more open. But this is what I'm saying. If you take that time for you, it's all metaphorical, right? We're running down the chains that are going to rip the chains off. You're going to do the same thing, just slightly different. It's going to be based on you getting what you need for a moment before you start trying to save the world and save the universe and take care of the planet and do all kinds of other things. You know, sometimes you said it the other day, the guy in the commercial that has the wrinkled shirt in the office. Why do you wear that in the office?
Why would you ever?
Why would you ever let that happen? Well, you know, no. Why would you ever? There's no excuse at this point. Take care of your business before showing up, or it ruins the business.
Right.
You could be the best guy in the world, and then you make your first impression, and it's like, dude, he's got.
No one likes you.
Yeah, no one likes you because you look horribly unkept, and you're not handling your business correctly. Right? Like, you got to do it. I mean, it all goes back to the simple things, right? You can't meet beings and be worried about DMT beings, and you can't even brush your teeth in the morning, put on deodorant, and get your day started.
But that's it, you know.
We fail at that point. Yeah. We roll out of bed and fail right there.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like everyone wants
again.
to run before they can walk, and you know, like you were talking to someone, you've been helping someone out.
Yes.
Is he a FearLess family member?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been helping him out.
Yes.
And he is trying to run before he can walk.
Yes.
And he's causing himself personal harm.
Well, it'll do. That's where the safeguards come in. That's why we have the family. He could come to me and say, "Hey, what do you think about this?"
Right.
And then I'm like, "Nah."
The answer is always no. Slow it down.
You can't work on anyone else and clear their energy
if you can't
clear your own stuff. And I mean, you got to be able to clear it and hold it down. You can't just be like, "Well, I could do this." It's like, no, if you can't clear you, ground yourself. Round. FearLess will be right back. This is your man Frank Castle and this is TFR.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
We are back. My name is Frank Castle, Sorcerer Supreme. We're here on TFR every Saturday night. Don't forget to stick around. Paranormal Portal's up next. After that, Chris and Cherie might do a little something. And then you have Jimmy Jean floating around later in the evening. And shout-outs to Eye of Ra early in the evening. Brother Ra. So much information coming out. And the timelines, like they say, are blending. The distractions are way out of control. I don't know who to believe, who to trust, who's who. How do you feel about that? You don't even pay attention to it. Yes, Paula. Hey, did you see that thing in the news with Trump? She's like, nope.
I don't pay.
You see that thing in the news? That's and she's like, no, I don't have any clue.
Perpetuate any of it. No, I don't.
We look at the like the weather app, and the weather app's like almost always wrong. Right? And the weatherman's almost always wrong. They don't like it. Nothing is correct. Nothing works. Nothing runs the way it's supposed to. How do you feel about that?
My day is my day.
You know, I'm going to bring this to an awesome point, right?
No.
You see where it's going.
But you know how I feel. I mean, I'm just happy. I just wake up happy.
Well, I know. No. I'm not. What I'm saying is, I knew how you were going to answer me already. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying it out loud like this. Like, okay, the distractions, the nonsense, the headaches, the splintering of your mind to be worrying about shit that don't matter.
Yes. Oh, we were talking about this earlier
today, too. Bang! Here goes the school.
Okay. Yeah. The voice inside your head has to be more important than the voices out there. You have to be comfortable with the decisions that you're making because it's your life you have to live. Even if other people are in it, it's still your life to live. It's not, like I used to...
you're not a B character.
Yeah,
You're the A character in your
your
life.
own life. You know,
You're
like
the
I
action
always thought
hero.
because I wasn't married and I didn't have kids that, single Aunt Polly,
Yeah, which you can't really ask Aunt Polly because she don't know because she don't have kids. Sherman style.
or I would volunteer for everything because I was single and I didn't have kids. So, I was never
You never said no.
no, and I guess I was like, never the star in my own life. Like now I feel like I'm a star in my own life. It sounds silly and it sounds corny to say that, but I really feel like I run the show.
Rock
in my own
star.
life. And I like that. I make decisions that I make because they make me happy to make them. I was helping your mom with something the other day and she was like, "Thank you so much. I appreciate it." And I was like, "Diane, I don't do things I don't want to do. If I really didn't want to do this with you right now, I wouldn't be doing it." And I try to stick to that as much as possible. And it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. But I really try to make sure I'm not doing anything I don't want to do. Now, granted, we don't want to mop the floor and I don't want to do dishes, but those are necessary.
But here
evils.
goes
We
the
have to do them.
compromises, right? I like to do dishes, right?
Yes, but
So
yes, and you do dishes, but there are dishes that need to be done other times during the day. So there are things that we have to do. But yes, thank God you love to do dishes because if you didn't, I don't know how this would work. But I really try to stick to that. I don't do things that I don't want to do.
Well, this is my point that I was going to get to because you said to me, "I want to paint the place." Right. And then we were like, "Oh, well, you and I can just do this or that." And I was like, "Nope, I don't paint.
Right.
I'm not a painter." Wait, I threw a little conniption.
You did.
Right. Well, I watched the guy in the upstairs apartment screw up because this paint has been so old and he had to peel everything. So he was up there for weeks for this 1-bedroom apartment and he was just cursing it. And I'm like, I don't want this guy in my house and I'm not doing that. And I'm not painting over junk. So it is what it is. We either hire someone, but this was my point. I would never act like that towards you. I would never be like, I'm not doing it. But
you
Frank,
did.
no. Frank can no longer be part of certain things and will not, period.
But see, I respect that.
I've never
Just
done
say
that before.
You can't do it.
Yes. Well, that's what I mean. I'm not good. I don't.
Paula cleaned every wall in the apartment. Almost every wall. And you know what? Now it doesn't look like it needs to be painted so much. All the scuff marks and stains and there's just mysterious stuff that.
And this is reference for your lifestyle. We take everything apart and put it back, clean it.
But it's not even that. It's owning up to knowing you can't do something, like you said.
Or I'm not doing it.
You said I'm not.
If I'm a plumber, I'm not painting.
Right.
I fix the toilets. I don't paint. I'm not good at it.
But the point is that you said you weren't going to do it.
Right. Well, that's what I was running with.
I respect you for not doing it because if it has to get done, someone else
will
do it.
Well, when you say I don't like to change the cat litter,
Mm-hmm.
I took it upon myself. I'm like, I don't mind. I never had cats. So
Right.
I love my cat. So I'll change the litter so you don't have to lift a heavy, dirty bag. No, this is my mind. Not that you understand where I'm going with this, right?
I do understand.
You're the best.
Thank you.
So we take it apart, we put it back together again. We remove the shadow of the darkness, the crap layer, but the things we no longer do, right? I don't sit there and turmoil over it for 900 hours. I used to break my mind just trying to hammer a nail into the wall because I was afraid of damaging the wall because of what my father used to tell me. "All right, look what you did." He used to just yell and what did I do? And he's like, "Ah." And it freaked me out bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now when I feel like, look, I'm not doing it, it's a wrap. But I've learned to say no and not waste the time. I would waste hours upon hours wondering how to put the nail into the stud, because of the trap and the loop I was stuck in.
Right.
Now I've broken my loop and cycle, but I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at and what I want to use the mental thought, the ability to have that extra space in my brain to work on other things. Like I don't bother anymore. I'm just like, no, I don't do that. Thank you, but no, thank you. Bye. All right. The little conniption fit that's coming out of me saying it for the first time out loud.
I'm afraid to do this. I don't.
And I'm not doing.
I
Yes.
don't like it. I'm not doing it.
And it's not about me being proud. I'm not doing it. That's not that. It's not that. It's saying it for the first time and admitting it, because that's just not what I do. And then it was funny. It came up again. I was with my mother, and she says to me, "Oh, you and Paul will come over and paint the wall." And I was like, "I don't paint." And she's like, "No. It's just this piece right here." I'm like, "I don't paint." Get it? And then I was breaking her chops though, but the intention was the same, and I felt like, well, I did it a second time. Yeah. Now I'm capable of
saying no.
Properly.
I empowered myself, and I can say no. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
I get it.
There's so
you have to feel. You feel the first time it happens, you feel terrible.
The balance in these things is absolutely key.
Because what's going to happen? We're going to get the paint. We're going to move all the furniture, and then Frank is going to throw a tantrum when it's time to put the paint on the roller and say, I really didn't want to do this.
Yeah, and then you're wasting everyone's time, effort, energy, your money, your performance on actually getting the job done, your happiness, your bliss, your willing and desire. Like, you're like, dude, I can't. It's like, look, just say, thank you, no thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. I would love to help you. Maybe I'll carry some stuff around if you'd like to do it.
I've said this
but
before.
I'm not going to do it.
I've said it before.
And all of a sudden, the stress goes away. Well, all right. So for my brother, we have a friend that used to promise him things. And my friend is older than me. My brother's 7 years younger. So he said, "Yo, man, tomorrow's your class trip, right?" "Yeah, we're going to Great Adventure." He's like, "Yeah, I'm coming." Right? "I'm coming with you." And he would never show up. I go, why do you waste your time with this when you always know it's the same thing over and over again? Right? You got to just kind of man up and step through the tool. We're at the point in this game where you have to balance yourself out, right? You don't have to get all aggressive, because you see me, I'll build something. If it's not going right, I'll smash it to pieces. But while you're building something I don't like to build, I'm not good at it, right? And you're fine, right? You can remove yourself from that. You can go outside, take a breath of air. You can stop yourself from doing it. You can say, I'm going to just call someone over to help me with this, instead of wasting the time and meddling in stuff that you're not going to be cool with, right? Like, this kid was never going to go to Great Adventure with my brother. Never. But he would say it over and over again, and it would just get him. You understand where I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. You have to break those cycles and that ridiculousness and just disattach from all of it and go, you know what? If I just do what I'm good at, you can break chains and go, well, this makes me uncomfortable, so I'm going to go over here and see why it makes me uncomfortable. That's a lot different than doing things that you're just not good at. I say, don't give me a math equation I'm not good at. But you want me to shaman someone, I'll bring him in. I'm not going to sit here and try to, teach myself, complicated math when I can just Google the issue at this point, instead of wasting 3 days on it, unless it's something I really want to do. I know it's deep. We're cycling deep into the nonsense, but this is what it's all about. You have to break this stuff and return yourself to a place of balance in the heart center, which is really not a heart. It's like a feeling, an attachment to the great divine energy. And from that place, we call it the heart. Some people say it's the heart chakra, but we know where that leads into the distractions again, into the chakras and all that, where we've learned here that you need to learn about them, need to know that they're there, and then you need to lose them because you don't need them, because you're the creator and you're the all. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Did you? Mm-hmm. You okay?
Yeah. Just listening.
Oh, all right, cool. Tonight we have a full house too. You notice that? Everyone's in. How are you guys with speaking of balance, like how is the balance in your lives? Do you find yourself more in tune with nature? Are you balancing out things with the animals? Are you seeing that? Is your job balancing or not balancing out? Realizing that I might have to leave or go? Is your situation changing? What's going on around you? Do you notice the imbalance where there should be balance? Right? Because all these distractions, all the stuff that we talked about tonight, it all comes out of imbalance, not being able to balance. Now, the distractions are thrown at us, and the society has created all these crazy things to keep us.
But that's what we have to learn how to maneuver through, those distractions, because they are put there to distract us from what's really going on. You know, like keeping up with the Kardashians. We talk about this all the time. You have to, these daily distractions are thrown at us. They're not important. What someone said or didn't say, or what you think someone did or didn't do, none of it really matters. You know, we've been giving a lot of people a lot more slack because none of it really matters. You know, there are some of us who like to work things out as they're happening. And that's not really how we do it. We usually work it out and then talk it through, and then we discuss it on air.
Right.
But there's a lot of, I think it's a lot of getting prepared for this shift that's happening, because it's been a lot of emotional work, you know, purging. I mean, Frank and I have thrown so many things, like literally gone through the house and just thrown things away for the last couple of weeks, like crazy people. And, you know, recycling goes out once a week. And every time the recycling goes out, we try to get stuff together to purge, to give away, to donate, or to throw away. And it has just been every week, it's more and more and more. And I know that's part of a big purge that's going on.
Well, we're removing the actual attachment. I look around and I go, get rid of it. We could just buy another one if we need it. Like, you're not hard up for it. You don't need to store it in the closet. If you haven't used it in years, you're probably not going to use it. Is it worth anything? No. Then what is it there for? Well, you know, it's great. You have 400 pairs of jeans if that's your thing. But if that's not your thing and you're just hoarding stuff and you get socks from when you were a kid and stuff,
Get rid of it.
You got holes in your underwear and all that. Dude, bring it together, man. You know, you don't need all that. You don't need junk and nonsense and dirty attachments. And you can have everything you want, right? But if I took it from you right now, would you lose it? If I took your phone and ran away from you, would you be like, I'm going to kill you?
Oh,
You know, your attachment. Well, no, I'm saying, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, so you would kill someone if they took your phone and ran, right?
Well, we talked about this last week.
But it's an attachment. So you'd actually go and take someone's life over someone taking your phone?
But we talked about this because we had cleaned out our...
I mean, it's a life we're talking about. We're talking about somebody would do that. You know that for sure. I took your phone. I got it in my pocket. I'm walking away from you. Somebody would definitely kill someone for that, right?
For the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a phone. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying it to them. I'm saying it to the world. You see where this is going.
Okay.
Our attachments. You could have the phone. You don't got to kill someone over it. All right. If someone grabs your stuff and run, you got to do what you got to do. But some people will kill you for it. Right at the table. Boom. You're dead. Pull a gun and shoot you dead over it. Is that kind of an attachment worth it? That's a heavy duty attachment though. Right? Blow the cocaine off the table. See the attachment fly. Watch everyone's face. Blow it right off the table. My turn. I'll go. You watch you'll see how the attachment affects everyone at the table. Right?
Right.
Okay. You got to just try to remove that part. Now, cocaine's a hell of a drug, and we shouldn't be using that one. But the example is on everyone's faces as it blows away. It's like their life is blowing away, but it's not. You know, it's not. It's not blowing away. Your life's not over. You know what actually happened? No, someone just blew that off the table. That's all that happened. I just removed this from here, and it's gone. Right? Well, what was it? It was an object. You imbue it with the whatever you decide to do. Is it going to anger you overly? Is it going to, I have to have this with me? Are you the type of person that when you go on a trip, take your remote control with you because you have to have it? You got to have all this stuff with you. You got to have 8 bags when you know you're only going to be gone for 3 days. Things like that. Sorry, because I can see mine in the past, and it's almost like as I'm talking, it's recycling it out.
Oh, I
like,
know.
get
You're
out.
it out. So go ahead. Keep going.
No, I used to go on tour. I stopped taking stuff. I had a backpack. That was it. I refused to be the person to take everything with me because I saw that. I'm like, I don't use none of this stuff when I'm there. So why do I even have it? Right. And so when you're out there, you're like, oh, I'm naked. I don't have it with me. But you're like, you didn't need that. Right. Like, I don't need a Swiss Army knife if I'm going on stage to do a show. So having that thing with me is unnecessary, really, unless I'm going to stab someone in the face and maybe turn a wrench during the show, which I'm not because I'm too busy being a rock star. So don't clutter your mind with bullshit, right? Remove it all and go back to balance, right? My computer was taken from me. And then everything was given back through the love of everyone's help and people. But during that time it was down, I had the chance to put my fist through the screen and go berserk. And I was right there. And I didn't. And it turned into a different situation. I handled it differently. I said, you know what? I'll go read a book. I'll go sit outside. I'll stop attaching to this thing so hardcore. Because if I have to have that, like I must have this, then I have to get away from that for a little bit. I need to back up from that thing because that thing's taking over me. That feeling, that emotion, that attachment to that. You could still have the same object and just not attach to it like that. You know, all right, the house is on fire. Your cat's inside and your computer's inside. What are you grabbing? I mean, think about it. I know a whole bunch of you just said, I'm getting my computer. I know a bunch of you did. In the past, I would have thought of that too. I'm a musician. I'd be like, well, if I grab the computer and this, no, I'm going right for anything organic that's alive and living in my house. Period. Everything else can just eat it. Period. I could just replace it. And you could argue with me all day long about money, this and that. You know what? There's GoFundMe pages, and these friggin' villains are putting them up. And people are out there, not maybe you, but there's a whole bunch of people out there donating money to baby blood drinking reptilians, metaphor, and they're just paying debts off. And there's ways around everything. You're a creator. Think your way out of it. It's time. It's time to pull yourself into yourself, your zone, and balance yourself. There's one thing I heard Chris say, he's 100% correctly. It's all about balance. And he actually said that to me. It's not about being the good or the evil. It's about balance, which is what I talk about, but I never called it really balance. I just said sometimes you have to smack a fool. So light workers, when they're holding a flower and they're like, oh, I love you, and just send love at everything. I'm like, yes, you have to do that. But if you walk into your bedroom, right, and the dog attacks your baby, right? Are you going to pray and throw light at the dog attacking the baby or the animal attacking the baby? Or are you going to do what you got to do? Right? Somebody's robbing your house, raping your wife, or whatever. You know, you're going to come in and do what? Sometimes you're going to have to throw someone around. Sometimes you're going to have to say no and back someone up. It's just what you got to do. And love and light ain't going to do it. Right? Because you're 50% dark. Right? It's a balance. Okay, I could guarantee you this: at the top of the mountain, they remove the good and evil push. So the whispers in your ear, the pressure and the stress that you feel, the compaction of just being compressed tighter and tighter, all goes away, and you get to sit in yourself 100%. And then it's on you, what you do. What do you align with? Are you going to align with this or that? Do you go back in heavier density? Or lighter density, right? They're frequencies. You have to maintain them. We know this is the truth because there's a truth frequency. Why? It resonates when we talk it. So it's the truth frequency. When you talk it, I hear it and I go, well, that's the truth. That's the person speaking truth. Why? Because it resonates. So things have to be spoken or shown to a certain degree on different directions and angles to even get 100 of us could look or hear the same exact thing, and 10 of us will hear one thing, 7 of us will hear a bunch, and the rest will go, I didn't even hear that at all. And we've all heard Chris talk about this. He'll say something, and then everyone will hear different things. And he'll go back and listen to it, and then you'll hear it again and go, oh, what is this? It's like those timelines are shifting and changing. Why? Because you're in your own timeline. There's an overall arching timeline that we're all in, that we're all pulling towards, but you are in your own bubble, your own universe, your own, when they're like, are you the center of your own world? And yes, I'm the rock star in my life, you know, but that means you're on a timeline. You're on inside that bubble. Time runs a certain way for you. There's an overarching time that everyone has to run for everyone, but you ever notice that sometimes it goes really fast for you, but really slow for the same person that's in the room with you, where you're experiencing something so fast and them slow? Why did that happen? But you were both there for the same exact event. It's because you're rocking 2 different timelines. That's why nobody's stuff when somebody goes, oh, in 4 months the shift's going to happen. You can't say that because in your maximum timeline, that's what it looks like. But my maximum timeline, it might be happening right now. So it's all combining into one, overlay after overlay of being just removed and removed and removed. And negativity is getting the stick in the butt. And watch, you're going to notice everything heavier that's out of sync. It'll appear off and heavier. You won't attach to it. You don't even want to shake hands with someone that's like that. And then the lighter will just attract itself. It's almost like you want to say hello to everyone, but you see the negativity and you throw love at it. You're like, whatever. But you don't connect to it. You could have all these negative beings around you and just spin around and see one person in the crowd and be like, hey, it's you. And yes, it's you. And it just feels different. It's lighter. It's the frequency. If you're changing, this is what's happening now. Is the time for the change. So balance is now coming through as the big thing. When you weigh the heart against the feather and the balance, this is the metaphor for that. If you want to believe that doesn't happen. Right? There's a whole bunch of us that have actually experienced that and have gnosis of that, where I walk by the same spot when I go on my shamanic journeys, and they laugh. I throw my heart at them and I keep running, and then they go, hey, take it back, and they throw it back to me because I just run right through, because it's the balance. Balance is key. You know, you can't be all light because you're going to miss some stuff. You're not going to have the common sense that the dark kind of swing has. You're just going to assume certain things because you don't have gnosis of it. And we can't be talking from those non-gnosis points now, right? And believe me, for sure, the ones that are talking the nonsense are just coming up with stuff. Paul and I literally, we ponder doing the show sometimes because it's almost like you have to go week for week. You know the whole story now. Until there's an encounter or a light ship or this or that, then there's really nothing more to say except I love you and have a great day. I hope you're continuing the journey and the fight. But nobody wants to hear that shit. They don't want to hear, yeah, continue the fight. Yeah, like Rocky. And blah, 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 blah. Everyone's getting tired of the nonsense and the distractions, or they're lost so deep within it, and they're still worrying about AI timelines and this and that. We defeated that timeline a long time ago. Yes, there's another timeline here with the fake alien invasion and the overlay. You keep talking about and thinking about it. You're keeping it inside of that. Now, nobody here on this show or any of the shows I've been on or know of have talked about aliens coming in UFOs, landing and creating saviors and stuff. So there's the negative timeline. The positive timeline is meeting your galactic family. I'll just leave it at that. You can decide what it will be for you, because it's going to appear in both timelines. We were talking about this in the group meeting the other night, in the group chat. The timelines are there. So it's either you're going to see the fake phony alien invasion with the savior coming in that's like, well, I'm the AI ready to save you, or you're going to just disavow that completely and say, no, that is not going to happen. And you're going to go with the other one where it's you're in charge, you are in charge, and you rise, and eventually you meet your galactic family. Call it what you want, right? I got pictures of things that I would have never thought I would have had pictures and things of, okay? So there's things running around. We talk about them all the time. When did you think this wouldn't be more apparent? It's headed to a point, right? Well, in the last part, don't sweat the small shit. You're
Sometimes I feel like I'm running down the sands of time. Another drink of ayahuasca just to free my mind.
I love you. Protection from deception. Got.